Hi and welcome to the Cine Film Factory channel on our latest vlog. It's been a while since I've made a YouTube video, as the eagle-eyed amongst you will know from following our channel. It's been nearly a year and a half now. There's been quite a lot of changes going on, all for the better of the evolution of transfer of film. Going forward, we've got a new studio now. Well, I say it's new, it's a year and a half old. I think some of the things that possibly have changed is I'm getting a bit more greyer and possibly lost a bit more hair since the last videos, but we're still here and still doing the great things with film that we do. But I've got a series of vlogs that I really want to concentrate on, and this is the first of many, and the first that are coming along in 2023. So be sure to like us and subscribe to our channel to keep updated with all the new vlogs that are going to be rolling out over the course of 2023. But today's vlog is a really important one, like all of them, and what I want to talk about today is restoration and conditioning of film. And what that means is that's the changes. We've seen a big change since 20 years ago now, since when we started taking our orders in, and the demands of film we've noticed have now changed as we are in 2023. These films, can we believe it? I mean, so much happens in the world, but time always keeps pressing forward, and you know, all our 8mm films, our 16mm films, certainly the 8mm films, the most popular format that we see over here at the Cine Film Factory, are now getting on for that 70-year range. And with that in mind, there is a restoration and conditioning process that we follow with every single order that we get in now. And this has come in really because we've seen the demands start to dramatically increase with film in the past 5 years. And that's what I want to talk about in this vlog today. I want to talk about what that means in a bit more detail. So I've got some quite identifiable things over here. We've got some splicers and some objects that you may well recognise from things your fathers or your grandfathers or even yourself used to use back in the day. But I want to explain the process of what we do now in respect of restoration and conditioning and what that means to your films. It's paramount to have restoration and conditioning before any transfer takes place, and I want to explain reasons for why. So over here we've got our yellow packeted Kodak Kodachromes, our 50-foot iconic 3-inch reels over here, and I've got one that I'm going to open up and show you here. These are all process films, and they are as they were back from the when Kodak ran their processing lab at Hemel Hempstead back in the day. Really interesting one that I've picked up straight away here. So this is really quite a common thing that we see here, and this is part of the restoration and conditioning bundle that we do that takes place. So so here we have our 3-inch iconic reel of film here, as I say. Well, there's two things that are identifiable following straight on from opening out of the packet, this one. The eagle-eyed amongst you may well be able to see what it is. As an experienced film technician, I see straight away, and I see it quite regularly, so it does need putting right before any transfer. So the first thing with this one is it's got no leader tail, and that's a very common thing we see now. The original glue that would have held on the white leader has become detached, and that's not present anymore. If we try to transfer that film without the leader, and the reason we have the leader is it has to work its way through a series of mechanisms to obviously reach the scanner or the projector. And if we don't have that, then we're going to miss probably quite a large quantity of your memories as it goes through. So it's important to make sure the leaders are put back on. You don't need to worry about that. That's something that we handle here. It's part of the restoration and conditioning process that we do. The second thing that's identifiable on this reel straight away is the film is back to front. So when it's been projected back in the day, whoever popped it back onto the reel on the rewind obviously didn't put it back in the right form. So what we've got here is we've got sprocket holes that are on the opposing side to how they should be. If you twist it round and try to ever project it, which we wouldn't recommend, or if we tried to scan it in that way, it would be upside down back to front. So, and another thing that's happened there is it's also where it's probably sat for 50, 60, 70 years on the reel the wrong way round. Then what's happening there is it's now misshaping because it's on the opposite end of how it should be. So it's not a problem. We have certain strengtheners and very clever chemicals that we pop onto the film, which re-lubricate the film and make the film more tangible again, and put that all back in everything that's needed. So that's one of the things that we take care of, and it's quite a common thing that we see with the restoration and conditioning. Then we move on to the larger reels. And I'm going to show you, this is an old school splicer here that would have been used with the splicing cement. So I'm sure a lot of you would have fond memories, as I did as well. I recall having very fond memories of my father, who was a big inspiration for me to get into the work that we do here today, painstakingly splicing away film. And what he would do is he would splice it away up onto larger reels, which would give obviously a longer run time. So this is the old school kind of splicing kit that we've got here to show you that would have been used. We don't use those today, but these, you know, like everything, the evolution of technology, these were what were available in the old classic film cement. Now, my point in bringing those up to you today to show you is they would have spliced them up onto these larger reels, and these are very common that we see. So this is what we call a 5-inch 200-foot spool, running at about 16,000 frames we've got on there, on the scan frame. So what we've got is 4 of the smaller reels that are spliced together onto the bigger 200-foot reel. Now, the most common problem that we see that we have to rectify here is this original splicing glue cement that would have been used back in the day. Well, you know, you think that's 60, 70 years old now. So any pull, or even if it is just slightly held together, anything, when we take it off and we clean the film, the joint pops back at the 50-foot section. So what we do is we reframe cut that, and then we use a special film tape, Jack-Row tape. We always use Jack-Row tape to pop that back together again and redo the joins back together. So all the film is then put back together, but we don't use a glue anymore. We use a modern tape. And we're using these very clever pieces of kit. These are Italian splicers, CIR, Dr. Leo Cattoso splicers. They're lovely pieces of kit with obviously the professional Jack-Row tape. But these things weren't around, you know, back then, so, and they were very, very expensive. They're very expensive pieces of kit, these. And these are the kind of units that we're using today to re-put these joins back together with the Jack-Row tape. What we want to make sure is that the film, when it's presented for scanning on our scanners for transfer, that nothing's going to break. We want the film to be lubricated and tangible, and back together again. I'd noticed while I was talking to you about this 5-inch reel, and I'm not sure if it comes up on the lens, I hope it does, is that there's quite a lot of dust and bits on there. And again, that's something that the restoration and the conditioning process goes through, and we clean all of that away. You've obviously seen our previous video that we did about cleaning, how we go through the process on the manual rewinders of cleaning the film. This is our special lubricants that we use here, and these are unique. This has taken a long time to formulate these film cleaners. They're tried and tested, and we have been using them now for many years, and they are superb. With standard Super 8 film, 16mm film and 9.5mm film, this is what we use. And it cleans it up, takes all the dust off. We're using lint-free paper, as you will have seen in our previous vlog that we did. So yeah, so that's all absolutely great. So that's that's the restoration and conditioning side on the 3-inch and the 5-inch reels. These are the most common ones that we're seeing. Then we've got these bad boys. So a bit more work, very identifiable, I'm sure, with you guys. So this is the 3rd size that we see, and this is a really low. What gauge is this? This is a Super 8 film. So this is a Super 8 7-inch 400-foot reel, and again we did another vlog on film identification guide, which you would have seen, and that one has so we've got 400 feet on there, running double the capacity of frames of the 5-inch. If you recall, that was 16,000 scan frames. This makes this 32,000 frames. In respect of the film restoration and conditioning for this one, so we've got 8 joins in here, because this would have held 8 of the smaller 3-inch processed Kodak reels that came back. So we've got 8 joins to recut in there with our tape and our splicing kits that we showed you. Reframe cut. This one is the right way round, and it also has its leader on it. But when we put, again, if we put any pull during the cleaning process, those will pop off because the glue will come off. It's not a problem. We'll reframe cut that, re-jack rotate, and then we'll be good to go. What we want to do is present the best to the scanner for your scanning of your films. So that's a little bit of an insight into the restoration and conditioning of films. What we do charge for it, because there is obviously many hours of work and labour work that goes into the restoration and conditioning. That is all additional. What we tend to do is we price that now as a collection, so it's in your favour rather than on an individual reel basis. We like to look at them as a collection of films, and then we set a price determined on the works required. Another thing we see, I mean, those films are good condition essentially, even though the works that are involved, but we're still seeing films coming in that are starting to oxidise now and starting to arc. The film's starting to stiffen up on the reel, so it's really important. Again, we can still salvage, you know, content from there, because we have certain chemicals that go in that re-strengthen the film and re-manipulate them again, but those are also further in. So we do have quite a mountain to climb, but that's just the drama that we're seeing, you know, with these films now. In this past 5 years, it's dramatic. The changes are dramatic, but you know, like everything, I do say this quite regular to customers that come into the studio for an assessment of the films. Certainly in respect to the glue, we'd never expect any glue to hold up 60, 70 years, you know, on anything that we glued. So it's the same principle. It's nothing dramatic. It's just a age-related thing that needs tackling. So yeah, so that's absolutely everything that I want to discuss with film restoration and conditioning. Another really exciting thing I want to touch on as I draw to the end of this vlog today is alongside our new scanning studio that we've got, which is absolutely amazing, we've also got our new film preparation area next door, which now gives us a much larger area to work on larger orders of film, which is absolutely great. But it's also a nice meeting area. It's where we have a lot of customers who still want to come over to the studio, bring their films. You're always more than welcome. It's all by appointment, and we have a big bench in there. We can put all the films out, and we're happy to do an assessment with you and discuss the different options that are available for the demands of your film, and that's absolutely great. We can run through, if you want DVDs, files, high definition transfers, standard definition. So yeah, so it's all absolutely great. So be sure to like us, subscribe, follow us on our social media channels. We're going to really pick this up this year. I've got a really exciting vlog coming up. The next vlog I want to talk about is on a couple of different scales, and it's about older generations and deterioration of health, and we've been finding quite a lot We've had families coming to us with family members, unfortunately, with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, and obviously the terrible dementia, and how with those diseases and those illnesses, how my own father has Parkinson's disease, and how emotive it's been for them to be able to look at the old memories. And that I know with my own father, he cried when I put our Cine films on that we transferred, and I'm hearing these stories quite a lot now. So I want to do a specific vlog on that, and how important it is. If you've got anything like that, it seems to jog something with them, and how much joy and delight and emotion they get from looking back at the old memories again. And wow, what a thing to look at, you know. If you've got such a terrible thing happening, how lovely it is to look at those. So that'll be the next vlog that I want to talk about. For now, it's over and out from Si. If you've got any questions, hit us up. transfer@cinefilmfactory.co.uk. We do have a new telephone number. It's all on the website, www.cinefilmfactory.co.uk. Be sure to like, subscribe and follow us on all our social media. Always here, Monday to Friday, office hours. If you've got any questions, need to ask anything, then just hit us up. So it's over and out from me, and have a lovely rest of your week, and look forward to the next vlog for you.